Hey guys, now I get asked, do you need to be QuickBooks Online certified or do you need QuickBooks Online courses? So the answer is, it really depends on where your starting point is and your temperament. Okay, so if you've done accounting in corporate America or if you've done bookkeeping in corporate America, even if it's not exactly like using QuickBooks, you don't need a QuickBooks course, right? You can maybe do like the refresher, like online QuickBooks certification course, but you're not going to take it for the certification. You're just going to take it to get familiar and more comfortable with QuickBooks. I think a lot of people, what happens is we get lost in getting a million certifications because we're nervous, and the real thing is not necessarily do we know what we're doing, but it's really, am I adapted to this new system? And if I'm not adapted to this new system, I'm really going to be able to offer good service to people. So just spend a little bit of time, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, just download QuickBooks Online Accountants version, go through the sample companies, just get a feel for actually using and manipulating the software. Okay, now if you're completely new to the industry, it really depends on your temperament. So when I say temperament, some people, they are warriors, like WORRIERS. I think that's how you spell warriors, where they're worried about what could happen. Is this going to happen? What if I do a bad job? I don't know if I can help this person. Like there's a lot of fear related to it. Versus your temperament's more of, I'm cool, calm, collected. I'm going to figure this thing out. If you're worrying all the time, okay, maybe you can start going looking like some QuickBooks courses. If you're a person who's like, okay, let's cool, calm, collect, let's just go and hunt, let's go and attack, just go straight to the clients. Like maybe do the QuickBooks Online like certification just for a little bit, just get an understanding of it. But start going to clients. Like your first client, let's say if you're really nervous, right, but you want to get that income and that job security right away. So just get a client that's like very small. So get like a true like $300, $400, $500 a month per month client. Just get one client like that, like one $300 a month client, just to see, okay, I got in here, I can do some of the books. It's not exponentially harder than what I thought. This is what the reality is like. Once you get that, okay, maybe your next client's $400 a month, then your next client's $500 a month. Now, once you get to that $500 per month mark, you're in the zone to where, sorry, my nose is just so stuffy. You're in the zone to where the clients are now meaningful, right? Once you can start getting clients like $1,000, $2,000 a month, that's when it becomes so much easier to hit like any income goal that you have. And you just have to really focus on, okay, so build the confidence on a small client just so you know that you can do the work, and then just expand and expand. And it just makes things so much easier for you. Now, again, if you're a warrior and you need to get a course, don't get a course for more than about $500 to learn bookkeeping. In the beginning, anything around learning the skill set is a very commoditized piece of knowledge and a piece of education. So when I say that, okay, they're teaching it in community colleges, four-year colleges. They're teaching like master's courses on this. You can like, so there's a lot of different courses online that can teach you accounting and bookkeeping for under $500. I would really try and spend under $250 for that. What you really want to, if you ever did want to pay for a course, you would pay for a course that can teach you marketing, sales, and pricing, right? Because that's the stuff that's going to give you the direct dollar for dollar return. Learning the skill set, yes, it can be helpful, but until you can get marketing, sales, and pricing down, you're never going to actually have a client that pays you to get a return on your bookkeeping knowledge investment. I've seen it so many times where like someone comes to, oh, I spent $6,000 on this course on like how to do XYZ element of accounting, element of bookkeeping. Oh, cool. And how many clients did that bring you? Oh, I don't have any clients yet. Wait, so you've already spent $6,000, and let's say me and you have never met, you would not be able to go get a client? No. It's like that to me is a little bit out there. So always go and just get a very underpriced course for commoditized information. Now, one thing to really keep in mind is just in time versus just in case. Okay, so just in case is kind of like the Warriors, where it's like a lot of people, once they start learning bookkeeping, once they start learning QuickBooks, they go into this downward spiral of, I don't know enough. Oh no, I just learned about this. Or, oh, in this Facebook group, someone said this. I had never even heard of that before, so I need to go learn this and learn this. And pretty soon, it's been a whole year and you've never even gone after a single client because you're still in learning mode. Okay, that is not helpful to you. Okay, assume if you're watching this video, your job is to try and get paid as quickly as possible so that you can go and either leave your full-time job or you can go and live like a very good lifestyle, right? So you want to get that sooner rather than later, and you don't have to wait. Versus what's actually more effective is just-in-time learning. So just in case is all the stuff like, what if this happened? Just in time is, I need this specific thing because this client needs this specific thing. That is the most effective, because then you're only learning stuff that is relevant to the potential clients. Now, there's not that many things that are relevant to the potential client in a lot of cases, because a lot of these business owners are very unsophisticated when it comes to accounting and bookkeeping. So if you're like a magician, you have all this stuff, you start talking over their head and you start doing what's called technobabble. And when you're doing too much technobabble, business owners don't really understand why they need it, and they start tuning you out. So actually, the more you know about bookkeeping, the harder it is to actually get business owners to want to work with you. And that's secret. So a lot of people, especially if they have any background in accounting, they ask me this question and say, Bryce, I have all this experience, but it seems like people with no experience are getting way more clients than me. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally true. It's totally true. It's because people that are newer to accounting and just focus on this just-in-time learning only know the key phrases that are relevant to working on it. There was this TV show, I think it was about 20 years ago, a TV show, right? And it was called SpongeBob. And on the episode, the main character's name is SpongeBob. He had this kind of mind transfer thing where they basically sucked all of his knowledge out, except for they sucked all of his knowledge out. They told him go read this book on like fine dining because they're having a restaurant, and all he knew was fine dining, and he became like the best waiter ever inside of the fine dining industry. And one of the food critics was like, "Man, this guy is magic. It seems like all he knows is fine dining and breathing." And like he was a huge hit. It's the same thing with accounting and bookkeeping. When you don't know a lot about accounting and bookkeeping, you only know the stuff that's relevant to what you've done on client books. And a lot of client books can be similar to other client books. So now you have this very specific, narrow scope of skill set that pays the bills. And that's really how you should be thinking about doing it. I remember also one time, because sometimes, like, I was nervous when I first got started. I was like, what if I can't do the books correctly? Like, what if I mess up? And my mom went, well, it's kind of like when you're getting a job in corporate America. If you ever feel like you know every single thing that this job has, you should be doing this job, you're going to be underemployed. And I was like, oh, I didn't think about it like that. I'll be underemployed if I knew every single thing. And here's a cool thing about bookkeeping too, is that in a lot of cases, even if you've never done bookkeeping in the past, you're going to have a lot of transferable skills of other things you've done that relate to bookkeeping. Have you ever made a budget for yourself? Have you ever balanced your checkbook? Have you ever reviewed your bank statements to see how much you actually spent and then put in different categories? Let's say, for example, you look through your bank statement. Okay, cool. I spent like $1,000 this month on food, or I spent $1,000 on my car, or I spent $10,000 on randoms like vacations or whatever, right? And you're putting everything into different buckets, right? You're categorizing them within it, right? So you're reconciling just to make sure, hey, was this expense actually a real expense, or did maybe there was a mistake on your bill, or maybe your credit card got stolen, etc., right? So you have that, and then you're putting it in different buckets. That's basically bookkeeping. It's just you're not doing it for a business. You're doing it for personal. Now, next thing, also, have you ever ran another type of business in the past? That's a big thing too. Business owners respect business owners. So if you've actually ran a business in the past, even something totally unrelated to bookkeeping, if you can explain that experience to business owners, a lot of business owners will respect your skill set and they'll actually want to work with you just because you know what you're doing and you're going to be doing the books in relation to business. And that's a major key in life, right? So don't feel like you have to have 1,000 years in bookkeeping experience, or you had to do bookkeeping because maybe you worked in a corporate and you don't do bookkeeping in your regular job. It's not about that. The transferable skills will be able to carry over, and then to make sure you're getting just-in-time training, you should be good there. Cool.